Hey everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. I mentioned last week that this was going to be a recommended reading or a mental diet kind of episode, so I thought I would divide it into some subcategories. I'm not saying everyone should read 3 books a month, but I'm just giving 3 book recommendations, a film recommendation, and 2 music recommendations. It's going to be very tainted by my personal preferences, so just bear that in mind. It does, you can read anything that you like as far as I'm concerned, but be aware that when you're making those decisions, one thing that you should consider, just as when you're eating food, is when you're eating food, you think, well, how will this impact me? Will this give me heartburn? Will this give me indigestion? Will this make me fat? Will this make me sick? Well, similarly, when you're consuming media, you should ask, will this make me a better person, a stronger person? Will this make me better tomorrow, better equipped to deal with the trappings that the world seems to be ensnared in? Didn't mean to sound as dramatic as I just did. You get the idea, though. Or will it make me more anesthetized against those things? Will it make me more degenerate? Ask yourself those questions before you make those decisions. And these are just some recommendations that I have. So, first one, in the non-fiction category, and there's going to be 3 categories: non-fiction, self-help, maybe I guess would be a good term for it, and fiction. So, in the non-fiction category, I am recommending Crisis of the Modern World by Ganon. Ganon, however you say it. It's an excellent way of sort of seeing some of the problems that have come to light with regard to societal structure and collapse. If you're feeling really scholarly, or dry might be another word for it, Ganon's a little dry in and of itself, but Revolt Against the Modern World by Evola is also highly recommended. I just think that you're better off reading the aforementioned one before the one I just threw out there. So that's a little freebie right there. It's the Evola one too, on top of that. In the fiction category, now that the weather's getting cool, for whatever reason, cooling weather always makes me want to read more Russian authors. And Dostoevsky's Demons, if I haven't already covered it, it is one of those books that I just see everywhere. Like, I don't mean I see the book everywhere. I mean, when I'm reading it, I just think, oh, this is so reflective and indicative of certain things happening currently. And I won't spoil it for you, but there's one particular little diatribe where just the misanthropy that bleeds through by these, well-meaning revolutionary types who, they want to help people, but then you really see what they're about, and it's like, you say you want to help people, but you despise people fundamentally. There's something to that. I really recommend Demons. Great book. And lastly, in the more self-help category, I don't like using that word, but I mean self-improvement. Self-improvement would be a better term. The SAS Survival Handbook, full of a lot of information, and I think it's a great starting point to just sort of get into what I'm going to be talking about subsequently for the Thursday series, about just being prepared for the worst. And I don't mean, get ready to your talkie, survival, all the buzzwords that you see on prep channels. I'm talking about anything. Earthquake, fire, stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a societal collapse. Be ready for anything. Be ready broadly. That's why I answered that one question recently in that fashion. Be ready for stuff in general. So, next up, film. Film is one of those ones that's a lot harder because, one, we are inundated with a lot of very negative content, and also it's more marred with subjectivity, and also just because something's wholesome doesn't mean that you're going to benefit from it. That being said, hang on just a moment. Felt a series of coughs coming on there. That being said, and this isn't me trying to just make people garner an appreciation for older movies, I just think these two are the 2 I saw very recently. I actually saw while I was recovering, and they were just wonderful. And that would be, I saw the Klondike episode, or film, but any of Charlie Chaplin's Little Tramp, they're so funny. You'd be shocked. I know it sounds boring. I know it sounds pedantic to even recommend it in the 21st century, but The Little Tramp is hilarious. It really is. And in that vein, another old movie that I just think it covers a lot, and in a very interesting narrative form that simultaneously shows us a misanthropic view, but at the same time is uplifting about what is just and what is right. Fury. Great old film. Highly recommend it. There's definitely, even then, the very first films, there were trappings of propaganda, and this is no exception, but I think it's really a wonderful film that does stand the test of time. Lastly, music. This is the most subjective of them all, because someone can listen to WAP and enjoy it and not be degenerate about it. By the way, that's not my recommendation. And conversely, somebody could listen to Ode to Joy and just not get anything good out of it at all. But these are just my recommendations. The first would be Dance Macabre, because it is October, by Camille Saint-Saëns. Really, it's one of those songs where you just imagine a lot of memento mori, morbid kind of stuff. And this is the one that if I get flack for any of the recommendations, it'll probably be this one, because people will disagree with the band's politics or their views on this and that. I'm just pointing this one out because it's a song that made my imagination run wild in a positive direction. That's the only reason. But that would be Tool's Fear Inoculum. It's a beautiful song, and I'd put off hearing their new album for a long time, just because, for whatever reason, it feels like the past two or so years have been the years of disappointing album drops from otherwise appreciated sources. But it was phenomenal. I wish I had listened to it sooner. So those are my recommendations. Above all else, though, even if you're not interested in the film or the music ones, the reading recommendations were the real reason why I made this vid, and hope you give at least one of them a try. Like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.